I'm Sarah. Thank you for sitting down on the track. Will you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ron Alexander, and I'm recording this from Pacific Pride's Pride Celebration, August 24th. What is the day anyway?
I do believe I think it's 8/24/24.
24/24 at the beach in Santa Barbara.
Were you inspired by one of the story prompts, or did you have something else you'd like to share?
No, I've been writing about a story. Yeah, and so I am 75. And in 1960, when I was about 11, I have no idea what I was doing, but I was searching in my parents' closets. Just curiosity, I suppose. And I found among my mother's high heels and slippers on the floor of her closet a book, a blue bound book, and it was titled Love. And I looked through it, and I was curious because I didn't understand the titles, because the chapters were things like lesbianism, fetishes, transvestitism, and 2 chapters on male homosexuality. And so I took this book back to my room, sneaked it back there, and started reading it. Most of it was not interesting to me, but the chapters on male homosexuality I started to identify with. The book I kept this book for a long time. It was published in 1935. And the chapter on male homosexuality talked about boys who were artistic, who didn't like sports, and there may have been other things in there, but I recognized myself in this. And then it talked about what they became, male homosexuals, who, among other things, were child molesters. And that was interesting for me because I thought I knew what molest meant. And I looked it up in the dictionary and said, to bother. And I tried to understand what a child botherer would be. Somebody who told them they couldn't play on their grass or chased them off the street or something. Didn't quite get that. But the rest of it did seem to fit me. And my mother was a person who eventually was diagnosed with an illness and was took naps every afternoon. And I went and knocked on her door where she would be napping, and she woke up, and I said, what is it? And I came in, and I kind of stuttered, I guess. She said, what's going on? What do you want to say? And finally I blurted out, I think I'm a homosexual. And she said, that's not true. That's a big lie. Where did you hear that? Who told you that? I can't believe you're even telling me this. And she went off on this barrage of these short sentences, and I just ran out of the room. And I thought to myself, if the one person who's supposed to love me reacts like this, if anybody ever else finds out, I'll be dead. And I really lived in terror that somebody would see in me what I had seen in me and recognize this and label me and tell somebody, and I would be killed. And I draw, and I drew then. And there are 2 things I drew. One was a picture of my future house, which was a big house with a fence around it and animals inside, because I loved animals, and I thought I'd live in this zoo-like place and I'd have all these animal friends. And the other was of a man in a noose hanging over the ocean and sharks coming out, trying to bite him, to kill him. So that's my 2 kind of disparate images of the future, I think. I don't know if I did one of those before and then one after this experience, but those are the 2 pictures I remember drawing. And I lived in fear of that. And then eventually And I was terrified in college, high school, that somebody would find out. I'm colorblind. And one day, the last class, a woman asked me, "Where did you get those pink pants?" These were days when white Levi's were coming out, and I had happened to wash mine with a red shirt. And I was horrified that I walked around all day in pink pants. And I just couldn't wait to get home and burned those. I got rid of those pants. And I lived like that through the rest of high school, actually the rest of elementary school, and then junior high school and high school, college. College, I met somebody who had a gay friend, and I actually met him, but didn't know what quite to do with that. Because I was thinking, well, maybe I'm bisexual. And I had a couple of relationships with women, sexual relationships, and after college, I had a friend, one of the women that I had had a relationship with. We stayed in touch, and she was a grad student, I was an undergrad, and when I'd first mentioned this, my feelings about maybe I'm bisexual, she kind of, I never would have imagined that. I can't imagine doing that for myself. And a few years later, she comes out as a lesbian, and I'm still in the closet. I still don't know what's going on. And she tells me about a bar she goes to, is out UC Riverside, out in the country, a gay bar. And so I go out there, I drive out there, and I'm parked in the vines. It's like, finally I get up my courage and go into the bar, and I just tell myself I'm just gonna have a drink, which I do. And I'm standing there, and somebody asked me if I'd like to dance, and I'm terrified. No. I'm just here to finish this, and I'm going, and pretty much try to get rid of that person. I just making this commitment to myself: go in, have a drink, and leave. And that's what I did. That was my first visit, and then I'm trying to remember kind of what happened after that. I started coming out. And actually, yes, I was in a men's group, and there was another man there who had come out, and we started a relationship. And that's when I decided I was gay, and I told my brother, my sister, my father right away, this is who I am now. I couldn't tell my mother, but I gave her hints. I would send books home and articles, and they live in the Central Valley. Magazines, talked about, I heard this lecture by this gay man, and here's what I heard about gay people, and never mentioning myself. And finally, I sent her a copy of Maurice by E.M. Forster. And I was home and happened to actually, well, did you read that book? And she, yes, and it made me think of you. Which was the first time she started talking about me. It worried me, because he has this fling, or something happens between him and this stable boy. The book was written in 1913, so stable boys who might have been 17 or 18 were different than 17 or 18-year-old boys now, and they were had jobs and married, and at that time. And I told her, I'm not interested in boys, I'm interested in men. And she seemed relieved by that. And I was out to her after that, and we talked more evenly. And then it was a few years later, and I introduced her to men I was with, different boyfriends, and some years later, she sent me a birthday card, and she wrote in it, "I'm really proud of you for." I worked in mental health. And I'm really proud of you for all the work you do, and for your fellow man. No pun intended. And I laughed too. And I was so happy that she could do that she could laugh about it. She could make a joke. And I knew she had found it. She had come to peace, had found peace, you know, and that was just really made me happy. At that time, I was with my partner, and Gary, I had seen living here in Santa Barbara. I had seen him at Nautilus of Santa Barbara, which was a club that's closed a long time ago, and he was so handsome. And I thought, oh my God, that guy! I was like, he's very handsome. And after some period of months, I happened to have a locker next to him, and he was very talkative, very open, talking about his father had died, and he had gone to a sensory deprivation tank, and he just flowing with talking about his feelings, and I would see him occasionally. This was over like 2 years, and then I didn't see him for a long time. And at one point, I'm pulling out of the parking lot, and he's pulling out another entrance and takes off. And I thought, I'm going to follow him. And I drive out, and I follow him, and I get on the freeway heading out to Isla Vista. And after about 2 minutes, I think, what the hell are you going to say to him? How are you going to explain this? And I got off the freeway. And some months later, I'm working at what was then the now Pacific Pride. Western Addiction Services, the first iteration of the Resource Center for LGBT folks. And the woman who was working with, I'm a psychologist, she was working with female clients. I was working with men. And she said, let's go to this workshop on this type of therapy, Gestalt therapy. So we go. Who's sitting? It's a 3-year thing, commitment, 6 weekends a year. Who's sitting across from me but this man? I didn't even know he was a therapist. And he's African American, a couple of years younger than me, and so we go through this whole training program for 3 years. And finally, after it's over, we have the last meeting. We're all kind of going through decompression because of we're all going to go off in different directions, and we got very close in this group. And so I called him and said, "You want to, let's go to dinner and take a walk on the beach or something." We had dinner, we walked on the beach, and finally, on the way back, I told him about my 5-year crush on him, and I explained to him that I had HIV. This is 1988. I had tested positive in 87, the year before. There was no treatment for this, and I said, "You're not going to get this from me. We will never take a chance. If you get it, it would be from somebody who said, 'Oh, I don't have a condom, but I'm not positive,' and somebody who tells you something, or a condom breaks. We will never take those chances." And I didn't know what he would say. And he said, I've been running away from this for a long time." I'm kind of choking up here myself. He said, "I've been running away from this for a long time, and I don't want to run away anymore." And we started seeing each other. I was giddy. And then as we got closer, terrified, because I thought, okay, he'll be with me. And then I decided, I'm gay. I guess I'll look for a real boyfriend now. And when I finally told him that was my fear, he said, "I'm not going anywhere." He told me that for about 10 years. Finally, I kind of got it. Last year, we celebrated 35 years together. We've had a house here in Santa Barbara for the last 25 years, or 10 years, 20 years now. 25 years. And his name's Gary White, and I love him dearly, and he loves me, and I feel it. It's a long way from sitting on my bed and reading this book about male homosexuals. And that's where I am now in my life. I don't know how much time I have left because it feels like things are closing in. I'm having trouble with memory now. But I'm really glad for this opportunity to record this story.
Thank you so much for sharing it. It's a privilege to hear your story.
I'm glad you were here to listen. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. It was really moving, and I'm so very, very happy for you. Yeah. I'm gonna guess that you're making good use of your time on this earth because...
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am doing my best.
You have a lot of good days ahead. You and Gary.
There are. And occasionally I wake up and think, I don't know why I'm getting ready to die, because there are good things.
So many good things.
Yeah. So I'm also a long-term survivor of HIV. I'm still alive. I mean, that's amazing enough. I should have been. In 1995, when I finally was diagnosed with AIDS, at that time, a newly diagnosed person had 18 months to 3 years. So I should have been dead by the millennium.
Yeah.
But the new medications came out that next year. And 96 to 2024, 28 years, something like that.
You're a testament to how that medical shift saved so many lives.
So many lives.
Not to shift your story to me,
No.
but part of what I'm so moved by sitting here with you is I lost family to the early AIDS epidemic, a lot of family and close friends in Santa Barbara. And it just in the early 80s, all through the 80s, it swept through and just decimated people that were close. And so having this conversation with you and hearing you say that you're HIV positive and you're 75 years old and you look amazing, by the way, and you're just vibrant and healthy, and I'm really glad that you're alive and that you got that medication. And thank you for doing the good work that you do.
Thank you. I'm happy to be in love.
Being in love is pretty great. Being alive and being in love.
Being alive and being in love. That's actually adds to it.
Yes, it does. It makes the alive part very rich and fulfilling.
It does.
Absolutely.
It does.
Ron, thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you.
am honored that you sat down with me today.
Thank you for this
Appreciate your story.
opportunity. I really appreciate the Starfish Foundation and the, what's it, Story Truck?
Taco truck.
Taco Truck.
Yeah.
TALK
Yeah, no
dash
food
O
here.
dash truck, right? Taco Truck. Okay.
That's right. We're about nourishing the soul, not the belly. Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity.
I appreciate you being here.
We have all received a gift, an expected or anticipated gift for a birthday, anniversary, retirement. Each time we receive that gift, whether it meets our expectation, we feel something. Happy, sad, disappointed. The gifts that are unexpected, unconditional, small or large, have the potential of changing the trajectory of a life. Someone pays for your groceries when you're out of money, leaves you a big tip just when you think you can't afford your rent. Those are the gifts that ease our fears, make us grateful, and want to help others. This is a space where we share how those gifts, big or small, make a difference and change our lives. Welcome to the Starfish Connection.